over looking for screen. She fires. Got it! Holy cow, what a shot!
In the Maryland Terrapins, the Big Ten tournament champions. Since coming over to the Big Ten, they have been running things.
Okay, here we have what we call a horn set. Horns is a pick and roll action where you have the ball handler in the middle of the floor and screeners will come up on either side and the ball handler can choose to go off either screen. When the ball handler comes off the screen, one of the screeners will dive and the other one will pop. Here, Shanice is going to choose to go off the right side off of Kyla's screen. Kyla sets a good screen, which gets Shanice this half-step advantage to get downhill on her defender. Shanice, her first read is going to be Kyla's defender here, right? So as she comes off, Kyla's defender is in a protect or a drop coverage where she's just trying to show her body in front of Shanice to slow her down enough to allow Shanice's defender to get back in front and cut her off. But Shanice does a nice subtle move here that'll free her up. As she comes off, watch her eyes, right? Initially, they're at Kyla's defender, but as she gets to this area here, she turns her head towards Kyla, making it look like she might hit this pop pass where Kyla is lethal from the mid-range jumper. So as she turns her head, watch Kyla's defenders, watch her feet. Boom, right? She needs to recover back to Kyla because she knows Kyla is dangerous from that area. Now, look at this giant driving lane that Shanice has to attack. So, Shanice drives downhill. Help has to come now because this is going to be a wide open layup. So Steph's defender comes over to help. We have 2-on-1. Great little pocket drop pass here by Shanice to Steph. Easy layup. Let's take this to the pros. We have KT up top in the same horns look coming off the right side off of Tiana's screen. As she comes off, Chicago's in that same protect or drop coverage. But here, KT puts so much pressure downhill against Tiana's defender that she can't try and recover back to Tiana or else she'll just give up this wide open layup. At the same time, KT's defender had already fought over the top and is trying to get back in front of KT. So here we have our 2-on-1. And so Tiana recognizes this, realizes she has the advantage, will dive to the hoop, and we'll get the same little drop pass in the lane for a layup. Let's go back to Shanice on the very next possession of this game where we're running the exact same set. She's going to come off the exact same side off of Kyla's screen. Right? We'll freeze it here. Remember in the last clip, Kyla's defender chose to recover to Kyla and gave Shanice the wide open driving lane to drive and drop. This time, since they don't want to get beat again for another layup, Kyla's defender is going to stay in the lane and protect against the drive. Shanice has done her job. She's drawn the attention of two, and now she just hits the open player. And like I said before, that's too much space for Kyla. She's automatic from there. Here we're going to see the same thing at the pro level, right? We have her horn set here. KT is going to choose to go off the left side off of Tiana's screen. As she comes off, Tiana's defender is there to protect against the drive. And as KT's defender fights over the top to get back in front, we have a situation where it's 2-on-1. Now KT is going to make this nice pocket pass here in between the defenders. Tiana, that's way too much space. Easy 3-ball. Now let's take a look at a staggered ball screen, or what we like to call a double drag, where the ball handler will be coming from the sideline off 2 consecutive ball screens to try and gain an advantage. Watch as KT comes off this first screen, her defender goes over and is now in a trail position. So now all Tiana has to do on the second screen is get in the way or rub KT's defender, bang, and now KT is at a clear advantage to get downhill versus the defense. Connecticut is in the same drop coverage we've been seeing, where KT's defender is going to try and get in front to allow Tiana's defender to recover back. But KT knows this and is going to attack it. So as she comes off, she takes that subtle side dribble right here. See it? Bang. We call that a snake dribble. So now she's completely in front of her defender. So now Tiana's defender can't leave, or else it's going to be a wide open layup at the basket, thus giving us this 2-on-1. KT recognizes, pitches back, wide open 3 for Tiana. Here we'll get almost the same exact look with Ashley, as she comes off the first screen, puts her defender in a trail position. Now all Kyla has to do is rub Ashley's defender, bang, right there, to give Ashley the one-step advantage on the defense. Now watch Ashley from here, as she'll take that side dribble into the lane, that snake, to put the defender on her back. This forces 14 to stay in front of Ashley instead of recovering to Kyla, because they don't want to give up an open layup. Kyla pops, Ashley finds, and now, as we get this kick, we see number 3 Ohio State recovering back. Best time to attack a defender is when they're closing out hard. Kyla knows this, catches, rips by, easy layup. Defensively, many teams will resort to switching the staggered ball screen in order to avoid the 2-on-1 situations we saw in the previous clips. We'll see this here. As KT comes off the second ball screen, Connecticut switches, with the screener's man stepping up to take KT and KT's man recovering to the shooter that popped. But this creates an obvious mismatch, with Connecticut's center now guarding a point guard. And when talking Maryland point guards, you know they're assassins with the ball and can score at the highest level. So this is going to put Connecticut at a big disadvantage. KT takes the big to the middle of the floor, where the big is going to play off because she knows KT can get to the rim going either way. KT uses a little between the legs, step back, bang. Look at that space. That's way too much space for a deadly shooter like KT, and she makes him pay. We'll see another example of that here, as we use the staggered ball screen action for a game winner with Ashley Owusu. Watch as Ashley clears the second screen. Here. We'll see JMU's post player is going to switch on to Ash. But this time, instead of backing off, right, the JMU post player steps up. So instead of settling for the jump shot, Ashley's going to attack downhill, which she does here, right? But JMU's defender actually does a pretty nice job at getting back in front. However, she uses all of her momentum and speed to get back in front of Ash. Ash knows this and is going to use this momentum against her with this Euro step. Bang. Game over. In order to take your pick and roll offense to the next level, you need a high IQ point guard that can not only read the first levels, but the second and third levels of defense. We'll see this with Shanice. As she comes off the screen, her first read is Steph's defender, here, who jumps out and hedges. Shanice is going to need to attack her hip and get around to create any sort of passing angle to deliver the ball to Steph. At the same time, Shanice needs to read Blair's defender, here, because as Shanice comes off the screen, Blair is going to lift to the wing in what we call a shake-up. This is going to put Blair's defender in a predicament. She can choose to either slide over and take Steph, who is rolling wide open to the basket, or she can choose to stay hugged up to Blair, who is the best shooter on the floor, and they'll want to avoid giving up a wide open kickback 3. As we see here, she stays with Blair, and Shanice delivers the wide open pass to Steph underneath. We see the same thing at the pro level with KT and Tiana. As KT comes off this ball screen, her real read is going to be this defender here, because her teammate's going to shake up like Blair did and put the defender in the same predicament. As we roll it, we see here. This is the moment where the defender can choose between taking Tiana on the roll or taking the three-point shooter on the shake-up. She decides to stay with the shooter, leaving Tiana wide open, and a nice finish over Brittany Griner. Here, we'll see Ashley show us the read for when the defense takes away the roller. As Ashley comes off the screen, remember, her read is a secondary defender here, Blair's defender, that's the one who's going to need to make the choice between taking the roll man or staying with Blair on the three-point line. As Ashley comes off, she clearly takes away the roll immediately, leaving Blair wide open. Now normally you'd get a shake-up here from Blair, but Blair reads this. Since the tag here is so high up the lane, Blair's going to fan out to the corner because the closeout for that defender is much longer going from here to the corner than here to the wing. Good read, Blair wide open. The Mystics use the same action to hit a huge shot at the end of the half of this playoff game. KT up top, coming off the screen. We already know she's reading the secondary defender here, as Elena's going to shake up and Emma's going to roll to the basket. It's going to put that defender in the impossible predicament of choosing which player to take. As KT comes off, we see she decides to take Emma on the roll. And then KT, being the elite player that she is, makes this hook pass perfect, on time, on target, easy money. Here at Maryland, we have a long tradition of elite point guards. Whether it's scoring at the highest level from anywhere on the floor, reading the defense and dropping precision dimes, or locking up on D and sacrificing for the team, our PGs do it all. Our player development program fosters that ultimate playmaker mentality that gets you to the next level. When Maryland point guards get going, defenders just don't stand a chance.